Sheldon Brooms Lawn Care. Come with us as we create some contemporary landscaping which closely matches the architecture of this home. This home has a lot of straight lines, sharp angles, so that's what we'll be creating here. So in the process, the beginning stages of creating these straight lines, the width of this bed will be approximately 2 feet. So as you see, we have the tape here and marking out the edges. We'll be creating some 90-degree angles here. Now if you see the architecture of this home, you'll see a lot of squares, rectangles, down to the light fixtures are like almost like boxes, rectangles. So the landscaping here has to match, so it wouldn't look out of place. So we're not creating any curvy beds here, just straight lines. So we're simply marking out the spots right now, the edges of where the bed will be. Now we reach the corner, we would have turned the corner there to match up with the tiles at a 90-degree. That's step one. So now we're seeing Adam taking over. He's simply creating more of the defined edge that I started. If you look closely, you'll see the line. How we created this line. We took the edger, the bed edger, and simply dragged it along the lawn and matched up to the points where you see we dug. Almost like playing drawing dot to dot. So we just draw, so Adam can use that as a guide to continue digging. And that's the beginning steps of removing the lawn. Now let me share something with you. Adam is fairly new to landscaping, but the good news is he's very enthusiastic. So as soon as we walked onto the property, his first question was, how are we going to remove the lawn? So I just smile and say, you will find out in a bit. So this grass mat that he's removing is the first lawn he's ever removing in his entire life. And he's doing a very good job, as you can see. Now, he got out his first grass mat relatively easy. Now, I can see with his body language, he is very satisfied with how that came out. It's like, okay, that one came out very easily. So let me try to take out a bigger one. Now, my style of leadership, I don't micromanage. So I didn't stop him. I said, no, stick to that size. I allowed him to continue to try to get the larger mats out, knowing that it will be more challenging because I've been there, done that. So I know from my experience, but this is him getting experience. So what I typically will do is, as long as we're not losing money or losing our reputation, we allow little mistakes to happen. So while I wouldn't necessarily call this a mistake, but it will take a bit longer to take out this grass mat because of the size of it. But as he's growing and experiencing, he will get better just as I did. So we'll see him remove this larger grass mat, and it was a bit more challenging. And then eventually we realized, well, we need to stick to the smaller sizes and we'll go a lot faster. It is a lot less labor intensive as this one would be. But we live and we learn. We get better. Now at this point, I'm sure he now realizes, oh shucks, I forgot to put on my gloves. But that's fine. Eventually he went and put on his gloves after. Happens to all of us when you're excited to get involved in a job. Happens to me too. So now me holding the camera and trying to hold up this small grass mat, and it was really heavy. Grab the mat and we're transferring it to this bare area over here. Right, so right now the plan was to create plugs, chop them up in small pieces, plant them, and then eventually they will join and grow and you get your full lawn. But as we went along, we realized, we have a lot of grass here, and the plugs may not be necessary, but we learned that later. We had so much grass, we ended up laying it as mats, entire mats, as we will see later on. So the plugs weren't actually necessary. I actually found myself doing more work than needed here. Right, so this is Adam just clearing out the edges, sharpening up the edges, making the edges almost like a mini trench a little deeper. The reason why, we don't want the stone to be the same level as the lawn. Why? Because the lawn, if you have it the same level as the lawn will easily grow across into the decorative stone. And plus, when we have the edges like that, where the stone is below the edge, it's easier to maintain by taking the string trimmer and sharpen it up. It looks crisper that way. Now Adam is installing the plants. When we installing these plants, we don't want it too deep. For one, we don't want the leaves touching the ground, because that's how it can get diseases from being constantly wet, fungus growing on it, etc. So now we're looking to make sure it's not too deep. So we decided to backfill a bit so it can be a bit higher. We're searching, making sure it's at a good height, at a proper height. We agreed, that seems to be good. Leaves off the ground. Now we're putting some nutritious soil. Now most folks tend to ask what soil you're using, so I'm just showing you here what we use. Alright, the rains caught us. It slowed us down but didn't stop us. Now folks, most times when you see us on camera, we know the camera is rolling. Here, I had no clue. Adam moved very sneaky here. So he caught me in a zone in the rain, laying the weed fabric while he's sheltering. So what we're doing is just basically cutting out an X so the plant can go through the X, and it helps stabilize the ground cover. Alright, so we're now going to lay the decorative stone. When we lay the stone, as mentioned before, we don't want it as high at the same level as the grass. Now some folks like to use plastic edging. I'm not a fan of the black plastic edging. I prefer the natural edging. But I don't try to dissuade folks from installing the plastic edging if that's what they want. If that's what they want, we install it. So the concrete and the lawn providing the edging here. No plastic edging needed. And this is the completed job as we're seeing here. It's ready for HDTV. square sharp lines. Once the lawn fills out properly, it will look nicer and sharper, cleaner, crisper. Our client wants these boxwood to get bigger, rounder. Thanks for watching. Take care.